Alright everyone, it's Major Mike here with another episode of the Completionist Cape Chronicles. Now you might be asking yourself, hey, you already have your Completionist Cape, why are you making an episode right now? Well, in a recent news post, Jagex had mentioned that they were tracking the Implings we catch for the Impling collector coming to Prifddinas next month. Now we don't know what exactly it's going to be for, but we do know that it is going to be a comp requirement. Now we don't know if it's going to be some type of achievement, if it's going to be a trophy system going in the Max Guild, that we're not sure of. But it has been confirmed to be a comp cape requirement, and I want to jump on it before the competition gets pretty rough when the update comes out. So to help you folks with the Crystal Impling, because that is one of the hardest to catch, I've thrown together a little guide. So if you guys want to stick around and watch that, I hope it'll help you. Enjoy. So to follow this guide, you'll need the following. Access to Prifddinas, 95 Hunter, Adult Supervision. Optionally, you'll need an Impling jar and a magic Impling net. Alright, so now before I show you the actual spawn locations for the Crystal Impling, let's go over how they work. The Crystal Impling will only spawn in Prifddinas in an area that has the Voice of Cadarn active. You can tell where the Voice of Cadarn is active at by looking at the icon by default at the top left of your screen, as shown here. The Crystal Impling will only spawn in that area, and there's only a chance of one spawning. There could be a chance of none spawning also, so that's something you have to keep in mind. You're not guaranteed to get one every time the voice is active in that area. Only up to one. So in my example here, the voice is currently active in the Trahaearn sector. The Impling will spawn here next to the Cadarn stone about where I'm standing. In my opinion, this is an awful place to try to catch the Impling because there's so many people mining the Cadarn stone that there's a lot of competition. I really don't recommend trying to catch one here. If you have the option and the time available, go ahead, do something else and come back later when the voice has moved on to another sector. Now when the Voice of Cadarn is active in the Crwys section, the Impling can potentially spawn just south of the compost bin, about where I'm standing now. This is one of my favorite places for it to spawn because there's so much to do if you're camping the same world. You can thieve, you can skill at the bank, you can chop the yew tree, you could even plant the herb if you wanted to. Do a little bit of farming. Okay, so now we'll cover the Cadarn Spawn. It'll spawn just east of the Herald on this little pathway here, so between the Herald and the Max Guild. And finally that brings us to the Iorwerth Crystal Impling spawn. When the Voice of Cadarn is active here, the Crystal Impling will spawn along this long bridge here, just east of the Herald. I have heard rumors of it also spawning in front of the main building to the south, but I've never seen one there. This is personally where I caught my first Crystal Impling. So a few last minute tips before we wrap this guide up. One thing that's really important and I highly recommend doing is to turn your RuneScape sounds on and keep them quite loud. You don't have to turn the game music on, but keep the game sounds on. This will really help if you hear the Impling spawn and you're not really focused if you've been there for a while, or even just hear it fly by. Another suggestion I have is to use your magic Impling net if you have one. This will give you the advantage over anyone else trying to bare hand catch it. The net gives you increased chances of catching it. Now when it comes to hopping worlds or camping one world, in my opinion it comes down to the time of day and location. If it's prime time, there's a lot of players on, I'd recommend just staying in the same world and hoping you can catch it. The other worlds are going to be just as crowded and the Impling's going to go away quite fast once it spawns. If you're up late and there's not many people playing, then by all means hop to as many worlds as you can. One of the worlds I liked hopping between were the legacy only worlds. They were often very empty in Prifddinas, except for the mining sector. There was always people in there no matter what world you go into. I also recommend bringing high alch runes and high alching something. You could be here for quite a while. So that wraps up my guide on hunting the Crystal Impling. Hopefully it'll help you folks out, and since this is a progress video, let's check my progress. Open up my bank. As you can see here, I have a tab dedicated to my Implings. This helps me see what Implings I've already caught and what ones I still need. As you can see, I have my one Crystal Impling and a few others. I still need a Dragon and Kingly. Not too worried about them. Honestly, after going for the Crystal, everything else just seems like cake. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.